Grieve 55 not only impressed researchers but also captivated enthusiasts of ancient Egypt. Referred to as KV55, it's a relatively small royal burial site with a modest length of only 27 meters. Situated adjacent to KV6, the tomb of Ramses IX, and above KV7, the resting place of the second Ramses, it lies alongside KV62, Tutankhamun's tomb, in the heart of Egypt. For centuries, archaeologists and historians have been bewildered by the enigma it holds. Despite the ambiguity surrounding its designated occupant, its distinctive features and intriguing inscriptions allude to a history surpassing the boundaries of human civilization, suggesting a captivating link between ancient aliens and Pharaoh Akhenaten. Let's embark on a journey into the depths of Grieve 55 to unravel its mysteries. Among all the tombs in the Valley of the Kings, Grieve 55 continues to be one of the most debated. Unearthed on January 3, 1907, under the supervision of American tycoon Theodore Davis by the young archaeologist Edward Ayrton, just a few meters away from Tutankhamun's burial place, it was excavated not for its riches or depictions adorning the walls identifying its inhabitant, but for some extraordinary characteristics it possessed. Its walls concealed secrets waiting to be unveiled, perhaps aided by 4 magical blocks adorning a burial chamber uniquely facing inward. This unconventional layout led to speculation that the purpose of the tomb was not to shield the mummy from the external world, but rather to safeguard the world from the contents within. Additionally, while the mummy in the grave remained encased within a coffin, a disturbing detail emerged. The inscription on the pharaoh's tomb wall, "That devil shall never live again," is a cryptic enigma that has puzzled scholars for centuries. It's as if history itself deliberately obscured the name of the body once etched onto the coffin, seeking to erase its memory from the annals of time. Instead of settling the debate, the discovery of remains possibly belonging to Pharaoh Amenhotep Akhenaten only deepens the mystery. New theories suggest that writings found on magical bricks in the southern chamber or on the canopic doors of the same chamber could shed light on the situation. However, interpretations vary widely, and the discrepancy between the estimated age of the bones, suggesting a young man of 25, and Akhenaten's presumed age at death, remains unresolved. Recent studies, including a facial reconstruction of the KV55 mummy conducted by renowned experts such as Dr. Francisco Galassi and Michael Habit, have provided valuable insights into Akhenaten's physical appearance. The inscriptions on the tomb walls, adorned with texts in a different language known only to high priests, hint at a concerted effort to erase the pharaoh's legacy from history. Some scholars speculate that this deliberate erasure may indicate a deep-seated animosity towards the individual buried here. Yet questions linger: why was Akhenaten so different? Could there be extraterrestrial connections at play? As the pieces of this complex puzzle fall into place, the shadowy figure of Pharaoh Akhenaten emerges from the depths of history, challenging conventional beliefs and inviting speculation about his enigmatic reign. With a 17-year reign marked by radical departures from established religious norms, Akhenaten's devotion to the singular deity Aten, the radiant disk of the sun, set him apart from his contemporaries. The perplexing features of his tomb and the concerted efforts by high priests to erase his legacy hint at a possible otherworldly origin, leading some scholars to propose that Akhenaten's teachings and practices may have been influenced by extraterrestrial forces. Was Akhenaten merely a harbinger of monotheism, as depicted in Judeo-Christian traditions, or did he possess knowledge beyond our understanding? The reverence for the celestial disk, a central tenet of his religious reform, suggests a profound connection to a higher realm, leaving us to ponder the true extent of his otherworldly beliefs. The concept of the celestial disk recurs throughout various civilizations across history, often associated with solar worship and cosmic significance. This reverence for the sun disk has led to speculation about its potential role as a conduit for ancient extraterrestrial knowledge, suggesting a profound cosmic connection that transcends earthly realms. This notion raises intriguing questions about how such beliefs may have influenced the course of human history, particularly during the reign of Pharaoh Akhenaten, known for his radical religious reforms in ancient Egypt. Many sources indeed indicate that the depictions of Pharaoh Akhenaten were deliberately altered, possibly to portray him in a more approachable, human-like manner, rather than instilling fear among his subjects. Now let's delve into the intriguing life of Tiye, the mother of Pharaoh Akhenaten, a woman of remarkable significance in ancient Egyptian history. Tiye was renowned as one of the most sought-after bachelorettes within the Egyptian royal family. Her marriage to Amenhotep III, a powerful pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, elevated her to the status of queen consort and granted her unprecedented influence in the royal court. Notably, Tiye's lineage diverged from traditional royal descent, as her parents Uraeus and Tiye were not of noble birth. Despite this, through their exceptional talents and connections, they ascended to prominent positions within Egyptian society. Uraeus, of Syrian origin, served as a charioteer chief, while Tiye held prestigious titles associated with the royal court and the Temple of Amun. Tiye's marriage to Amenhotep III was not merely a union of convenience, but a strategic alliance that benefited her family's standing in Egyptian society. Her son, Akhenaten, would later ascend to the throne and implement revolutionary religious reforms, introducing the concept of monotheism and venerating the Aten, the sun disk, as the supreme deity. This departure from traditional polytheistic beliefs marked a significant shift in Egyptian religious practices and cultural norms. The legacy of Queen Tiye extends beyond her role as a royal consort. Her mummy, discovered remarkably intact, provides valuable insights into ancient Egyptian burial practices and funerary rituals. Through meticulous archaeological examination and modern scientific techniques, researchers have reconstructed her facial features, revealing a striking resemblance to her mother Tiye. This remarkable discovery offers a glimpse into the familial connections and dynastic ties that shaped the history of ancient Egypt. In summary, the life of Tiye, the mother of Pharaoh Akhenaten, exemplifies the intricate interplay between familial lineage, royal politics, and religious ideology in ancient Egypt. Her story underscores the enduring fascination with Egypt's rich cultural heritage and the ongoing quest to unravel the mysteries of its past. These images allow us to witness the reconstruction of the beautiful Queen Tiye, whose mummy dates back over 3,400 years. Tiye passed away in her palace in Malkata, located in Thebes, and was buried in accordance with her son's decision, Pharaoh Akhenaten. However, following the downfall of his reign, her remains were transferred back to the Valley of the Kings in Thebes. Tiye's tomb, alongside that of Tutankhamun, yielded stunning golden coffins and remarkably preserved mummies in almost pristine condition. At the time of her death, Tiye was just over 50 years old, standing at 1.5 meters tall, with facial features resembling those of her mother, Tiye. As we delve deeper into the ancient Egyptian records and embark on our research, significant details emerge. Inscriptions found on Tiye's coffin reveal a detailed map of the underworld. How is this possible? Recent studies published in the Journal of Egyptian Archaeology by Harkoff-Willems suggest that this ancient text may be the oldest known copy of the Book of Two Ways, dating back at least 4,000 years. This dating is associated with the tomb, as it contains inscriptions referencing the deity of night during the 21st to 20th centuries BCE. Previously, it was erroneously believed that the coffin contained the body of Djed, but this latest study indicates that it was actually owned by a distinguished woman named Ankh. Despite decades of painstaking searches, archaeologists had previously unearthed only a few versions of the ancient Book of Two Ways. Therefore, this new discovery on the wooden coffin panel represents a significant breakthrough. But what exactly is the Book of Two Ways? It delineates the two paths a soul must navigate in the Egyptian underworld to traverse the afterlife. The Osiris underworld can be likened to the Egyptian version of the Elysian fields, with Osiris serving as the ultimate judge of all human souls. Moreover, the Book of Two Ways forms a crucial part of the broader tapestry of ancient Egyptian mythology, serving as a precursor to later texts such as the Coffin texts and the Book of Gates, collectively referred to as the Netherworld literature. The visual presented here holds considerable importance as it elucidates the arrangement and layout of the Book of Two Ways on the coffin panel. Now, what about the Book of the Dead? This constitutes a more widely recognized collection of spells known as the Book of the Dead, defined by National Geographic as the complete collection of mort texts pertaining to the afterlife. Essentially, the Book of the Dead encompasses everything a person needs to successfully navigate their way through the afterlife, comprising 1,185 spells and charms. So how does one reach Osiris after death? The Book of Two Ways provides intricate details on how to find Osiris in the underworld, a challenging task amidst the perilous landscape where demonic entities lurk. The two zigzagging paths, surrounded by fire and located at the border of the sky, lead to Rostau, the realm of Osiris. It was believed that anyone who gazes upon Osiris' deceased body will never truly perish, and reaching the realm of offerings would satisfy one's desires after a feast with Osiris. However, the dilemma arises: these paths can be daunting and deceptive, with some never reaching their destination. The pursuit of solace may disappoint a soul, drawing it further away from its final rest. Along the way, travelers must contend with the lake of fire, which has the power to either annihilate or revive the soul. They must also navigate through the fiery judgment of the sun, battling eternal guardians and demonic entities obstructing the path. But how would they accomplish this? The Egyptian underworld was not a place for the wicked or the faint-hearted. Additionally, within this context, there is the notion of a soul map. In a sense, the Book of Two Ways serves as a map for the soul. However, in the 21st century, while it may appear to us as a map, it doesn't fit the traditional definition of a map. Instead, the ancient Egyptians viewed it as a psychological map of the soul, dividing the underworld into hours or caverns, containing landmarks and events. This concept asserts 4,000 years ago, no one had yet mapped the underworld, with texts dividing it into hours or caves and including landmarks and events. Ancient Egyptian records speak of creation occurring during the Egyptian era, yet undoubtedly creation existed long before, and life continued throughout. Perhaps the term Egyptian era in their writings referred to something entirely different, but let's proceed with what they've written. In a sense, the Book of Two Ways was conceived as a form of solace and guidance for those facing death, enabling them to better understand what awaits them after transitioning from this world to the next. Whether it is accurate or not is not of particular significance initially, but somehow these concepts were articulated, documented, written, and illustrated. Now, what did they draw inspiration from, or what did they base their writings on? The answers to these questions are currently unknown. Just like any story we tell ourselves about what happens after we shuffle off this mortal coil, our ideas about the afterlife are primarily rooted in this realm. Perhaps it's to facilitate our transition into everything. Therefore, the Book of Two Ways seems to be compatible with other texts that have been around for centuries. In the ancient Egyptian world, there was an abundance of material considered sacred, and certain symbols, materials, or even the items they carried themselves were highly significant. Let's discuss 10 ancient Egyptian symbols we need to know about. Egypt, the land of pharaohs that I fondly refer to, is steeped in incredible tales that span thousands of years, tracing back to the ancient Egyptian civilization. As you're well aware, it has left an indelible mark on history books. From erecting some of the most astonishing monuments on the planet to excelling in fields such as astronomy, medicine, engineering, and writing, the ancient Egyptians were experts in various domains. Their culture is teeming with mythology, and much of their history is intertwined with myths where they attempted to explain events that were both extraordinary and perplexing, such as causes of death, illnesses, harvests, punishments, and otherworldly theories. Everything we see somehow relates to incredible stories, mythologies, and beliefs. Therefore, the ancient Egyptians created numerous symbols, each associated with its own mystical significance. But how do these symbols, purportedly human creations, manage to operate certain laws in a mystical sense and exert influence over people? This is where the crux lies, a crucial symbol that holds profound meaning and seemingly operates on mystical principles. The Ankh, undoubtedly one of the most famous symbols associated with ancient Egyptian civilization, also known as the Key of Life or the Ansate Cross, symbolizes life in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. Many Egyptian gods are depicted carrying the Ankh, representing dominion or life throughout their reign. The symbol is commonly found in illustrations of the Egyptian pantheon, often held by or near pharaohs. Another symbol, the Uraeus, is an important visual representation symbolizing the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. The Uraeus, stylized as a cobra, represents sovereignty, kingship, and divine authority in ancient Egypt. The Uraeus can be found on the mask of Tutankhamun, among other places. It is also interesting to note that snake god representations are commonly found across various civilizations, indicating a deeper connection beyond coincidence. The Eye of Horus is a highly recognized symbol in ancient Egyptian culture. It is commonly known as the symbol of protection, royal power, and good health. In ancient Egypt, the eye was personified as the goddess Djed, the protector of Lower Egypt, and represented by a falcon, symbolizing the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. The right eye of Horus is associated with the sun god Ra. In Sumerian mythology, after a nuclear war that led to the beginning of Egyptian mythology, Marduk, the son of Enki, swore an oath that one day he would return to everyone's home and be worshipped, with the single eye symbolizing his return. Therefore, the concept of the anticipated return of the Antichrist and the Messiah's return is believed to have originated from here, which has a global influence. Another symbol, the lotus flower, known as the sesin, represents life, rebirth, and the sun in ancient Egypt. This ancient Egyptian symbol is believed to have emerged during the early dynastic period, but became popular from the Old Kingdom onwards. The sesin is commonly depicted as a lotus flower in ancient Egyptian art. It's worth noting that the lotus flower is also associated with eternal life in Hinduism and with Satanism. This insect, symbolically represented as a dung beetle, was a highly significant ancient Egyptian symbol. It was associated with the divine manifestation of the morning sun rolling the solar disk across the eastern horizon at sunrise, and was commonly depicted on amulets and impression seals in Egyptian culture. Another symbol, the Djed, is an important visual found on the west wall of the Osiris Hall at Abydos, indicating the height of a pillar. This symbol is considered one of the oldest symbols in Egyptian culture, representing stability and associated with the god Osiris. When representing Osiris, the symbol is often combined with a pair of eyes and the flail, symbolizing rulership and divine power. Additionally, the Djed column is one of the oldest symbols of Osiris and holds great religious significance for the ancient Egyptians. Interestingly, some archaeologists argue that the columns were used at the four corners of the world to hold it in place. The Waz scepter was one of the most important Egyptian symbols. Scepter was the symbol of power in ancient Egyptian culture, also represented the dominion of gods, and according to what the ancient Egyptians believe, it also ensured the continuance of a king's prosperity. The Waz scepter has a straight shaft, a crooked handle in the shape of an animal head, and a forked base. The crooked top of the staff mirrors the strange animal shape of Set's own head. Tiet or Tiet, also known as the knot of Isis and the blood of Isis, is an Egyptian symbol that closely resembles the Ankh symbols. The Ankh symbol. Its meaning was also interpreted as similar to the Ankh. It's supposed to symbolize life. It was identified with the goddess Isis and used mostly with the Ankh and the Djed pillar of Osiris because together they were interpreted as the dual nature of life. There is no precise information as to why it is called the blood of Isis, but it is supposed to be given because it represented the menstrual blood of Isis and the magical powers it gave. Though not widely known, the Benben stone is one of the best-known symbols in ancient Egypt. As some researchers have pointed out, the Benben stone represents the primeval mound on which the god Atum stood at the beginning of creation. It is associated with the pyramids because these structures symbolize the ascent from earth to heaven. A flail and crook are also popular symbols in ancient Egyptian art. This symbol represents the power and glory of the kingdom. Much like many other symbols, it is also associated with Osiris and the early rulers of the world. Egyptian pharaohs carried these symbols during important ceremonies. The surface of Tutankhamun's coffin represents the crook and flail symbol. In conclusion, ancient Egypt, the land of the pharaohs, is filled with incredible stories spanning thousands of years of ancient Egyptian civilization. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more fascinating insights into history, mythology, and culture. Hit the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest videos. I can't wait to hear your thoughts and insights in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep exploring the wonders of our shared human heritage. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey.